Hi everyone, it is me, Sailor Moon, and it's me, Sailor Neptune here. And today, well, yeah, you can tell my hair, you can tell the hair is a sty, but not really much you can do about dull hair. So, anyway, the first thing we're going to talk about is today why we don't shift our films or cut our films or skim our films. I would want to say edit, but that's more likely a French borrowed word or a Latin borrowed word. And a lot of folks do it. You know, a lot of folks think you have to do it, a lot of folk. But, so at the end of the day, it's a choosing. There is no law or oversight that says that if you're making films, or that you have to do all that stuff. Now, some folks are going to fight and say, oh, well, a lot of folks do it. Film businesses, play businesses, I guess, farcier show businesses, sport businesses of any kind. But, so at the end of the day, they choose to do it. It's not a law or oversight that makes anyone do it. Now, let me talk about why we don't do it. One, all the tools out there, free or skilled, are too hard to work. They're too weak too, and they don't truly do anything outstanding. It's like, here, I'm going to make your film brighter, make it darker. You want a beginning, a middle, and end sheet to your film? Oh, you want some outstanding lighting or some kind of drawings here? Great. You want to cut this out, put this in? Oh, that's when you're asking too much. You know? And we have worked with a lot of these tools back in the day. And even some of the ones that we haven't worked with. And the only ones that seem to give you a hard time for not cutting or skimming or cleaning your films or whatever you want to call it is haters out there, trolls, whatever you want to call them. You know, they are the only ones that are going to scave you or give you a hard time for it, under the belief that if you did all that, they would like your work. But at the end of the day, I don't think so. And we don't have enough time in the day to even fuck around with any of our film skimming tools, film cutting tools, or film shifting tools. We only got 3 of them. And they're too hard to work as it is anyway. Alright, want to go on now? Yeah, Sailor Moon. So, we have everyone's beloved small soft Windows film shifter, which comes in almost every offshoot of Windows except Windows 8 and 8.1. But it's a bolt, but once again, it's probably just a new name, but it probably behaves the same way. And then we got the VLC player, which comes with every offshoot of Windows and Mac OS that I can think of. But once again, way too many tools, and the only thing it's good at is playing disses. As long as they're not burned, because if they're burned, it's not going to play them. And then the last one, the YouTube film shifter, which once again, it's too hard to work, and the only thing it's good at is making end sheet to your film. That's it. So don't tell us about how Mackie Cam, or whatever that one's called, or Last Cut, or Sony Vegas, or the Apple's Macintosh iFilm are stronger and smoother to work, because I'm here to tell you they're probably as hard to work too, and they're as weak too. And don't forget about interweb hookup, strength filmmaker. The one we got a long time ago was broken. All it could do was film. So don't tell us how great. So don't So I don't want to hear anyone say that, oh, skimming is your friend, or cutting is your friend, or shifting is your friend, because it's not. If it was a friend, it was a friend that came with a bunch of hang-ups like you did, upsides and downsides, and weaknesses. So don't say it was a friend to me, because it never was. It more is someone who says, "Oh, I'm going to help," but then I am up making more of a hang up than if it wouldn't help. They say they're like a friend that says, "Oh, I'm going to help you," but at the end of the day, their help isn't really helpful at all because they just make a much more hang up than you already have. So we don't have to do it, and we choose not to do it, and that's the grounds to why we don't get as much watch time or looking on our films that someone else out there does for doing all that shit. Then oh well, good for them then. Another thing we don't do is, can I take this back again, Sailor Neptune? Oh yeah, take it back, Sailor. Yeah, thank you, Sailor Neptune. Anyway, another thing we don't do is we don't write anything out before we make our films. We don't do that. We come on, we say what's on top of our mind. Other words, we just shoot. Whatever happens to be on our mind at the time, that's what we say. We don't sit down and write down all the things we're going to say before we say them or any of that stuff. You know? And as far as the lighting goes, it's whatever happens to be the day. If it's bright enough out, the light is not on. If it's dark, the light's on. That's it as far as the lighting work goes. And that's it. And once again, we don't do anything with we don't do any outstanding lighting or outstanding drawings. We just don't got no beginning, middle, and end sheet to our film. Only what the YouTube one we make for YouTube, and that's it. We don't cut anything out and put anything in. We don't do any of that stuff. You folks always talk about how cool it is to do that, and you behave as if everyone's doing it, but not everyone does it. You know? And while you folks are fucking around doing all that shit, my film's already up. My film's already filleted and playable. Is it going to get enough watch time? Probably not. Your film's going to get more watch time than I do, but at least my film's going to be up before yours because I'm not the one going around doing all this bullshit shifting work. You know? I'm not the one that's shifting out the lighting and the drawings or putting songs in. I'm not the one that's putting a beginning, middle, and end sheet to the film. I'm not cutting out this, putting in that. I'm not making a whole big thing out of it. So, you might get more watch time than I do, but my film uploads and fillets before yours does. Just saying. Only saying here. So, yeah, it's too much of a hard work to fuck around, to play around with any of these film shifting tools out there, either it be the small saw, VLC, or the YouTube one. They're all weak, they're too hard to work, and they're not really anything outstanding. And we make our films this way because I think these films, the way you make them, is lifelike. Because in true life, you can't shift anything out. So why should it be this? So why should films and plays and shows do that when when true life you can't do any of that stuff? And I choose not to do it. Well, you're right about that, Sailor Moon. At the end of the day, a lot of folks choose to either skim or cut or clean or shift their films, or some choose not to do it. It's their own business. Like you say, there's not a law or oversight that makes these folks do it. They just choose to do it because in their mind they think they have to do it. They think that's the only grounds to why they ever get the watch time they get. You know? And they think that everyone should do it. And yeah, they might have scaled whatever film shifting tool it was out there. And a lot of them, well, they might got a lot of time in their hands to fuck around and play around with these tools. You know. And great for them. But we choose not to. So if you like that film, then follow us over here at Sailor Moon for Life. Watch the last film we made yesterday over here, Sailor Moon and Sailor Uranus. Sailor Neptune, Sailor Moon, see you later. Bye.